Have you ever felt the thrill of a secret desire, a hidden attraction so intense it lingers in every glance, every whispered word, even in the lightest touch? Imagine being drawn to someone who isn't your partner, a pull that's as exciting as it is forbidden. In today's video, we dive deep into the subtle signals that reveal a hidden attraction, the longing stares, the unspoken words, and those fleeting moments of physical contact that speak louder than words. Watch until the end to uncover these powerful yet subtle signs, and to understand the delicate balance between desire and restraint. This insight could change the way you view attraction forever. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, I encourage you to click the subscribe button and ring the notification bell to stay updated on all our latest content. I'm eager to hear your thoughts on today's topic. If you enjoy the content, please comment 1 below. If it doesn't resonate with you, leave a 0. Your feedback is crucial as it helps me create better videos that align with your interests. Now, let's get started. 1. The fear of being discovered. The allure of the forbidden can feel intoxicating, a flame too hot to touch but impossible to resist. Imagine a devoted wife, anchored in the safety of her marriage, feeling an electric thrill course through her veins every time she's near a man who isn't her husband. Not just any man, but her husband's close friend. This was the labyrinth of emotions my friend Marta found herself entangled in, and even now, she recalls those moments with a bittersweet smile laced with both regret and longing. Marta had been married for years, her life built on the steady foundation of a calm, predictable relationship. Yet, in the quiet rhythm of her marriage, she felt a void, a hollow ache she couldn't quite name. Her husband's friend Andres seemed to be everything she'd been unknowingly craving. Charismatic, confident, and flirtatious, Andres exuded a kind of carefree energy that made Marta's heart race, her pulse quicken. It was an allure she hadn't felt in years, a reminder of the parts of herself she thought had long been buried. He wasn't just attentive, he was dangerously perceptive. The kind of man who could read emotions buried deep and, without uttering a word, pull them to the surface. It all began innocently, as these things often do. Harmless laughter at gatherings, fleeting eye contact that lasted a beat too long, whispered jokes exchanged in the privacy of the kitchen while her husband's back was turned. Andres didn't miss a beat. His eyes held hers a moment too long, his compliments a shade too personal. At first, Marta tried to brush it off, convincing herself that it was nothing more than friendly banter. But then came that undeniable moment, when a spark ignited between them, sharp and searing. Her heart skipped, and a pit of dread twisted in her stomach as she realized she was stepping onto dangerously thin ice. That night, as Marta lay in bed, staring at the ceiling while her husband slept soundly beside her, she was consumed by a chaotic blend of desire and terror. Her mind replayed every subtle exchange, every accidental touch, her thoughts tangling between excitement and guilt. She felt a desperate urge to pull away, to protect the life she had built and the man who loved her without condition. But the more she tried to distance herself from Andres, the more he occupied her thoughts, haunting her quiet moments with an ache she couldn't shake. It was a magnetic pull, irrational yet undeniable. Marta confessed to me with a voice heavy with regret. The first time I felt that spark, I told myself, this can't happen. I have to stop. But desire doesn't listen to reason. It's relentless, unforgiving, creeping in even when you try your hardest to shut it out. And so, she found herself living in a constant state of tension, wanting to be near him, yet terrified of the possibility. She was no longer just afraid. She was paralyzed by the fear of discovery, of everything unraveling. For a committed woman to feel this way, especially for someone so untouchable, the instinct is almost always to withdraw. Not because the attraction isn't there, but because the risk feels as vast and consuming as the desire itself. That fear, the raw, agonizing fear of being caught, became her invisible chain, a weight pulling her back into reality every time she dared to let her heart wander. Yet, the forbidden flame of Andres' presence continued to flicker at the edges of her mind, a lingering reminder of the thrilling chaos she had narrowly escaped, or perhaps only postponed. 2. The gaze that breaks barriers. The eyes, windows to the soul, can betray even the most guarded of hearts, slipping past the barriers we erect to keep our desires hidden. If you've ever felt the weight of someone's gaze lingering on you, that lingering look that makes the air feel charged, I assure you, it's no coincidence. When a committed woman feels a spark of attraction for someone who isn't her partner, it's through those fleeting moments of eye contact that her true emotions dare to surface, even when she fights to keep them buried. Years ago, I witnessed this firsthand in the quiet hum of an office. I had a colleague, let's call him Javier, a good-natured, somewhat oblivious soul, seemingly immune to the subtle language of attraction. But another colleague, Rocio, began to look at him differently, her eyes brimming with something she couldn't quite hide. Every time he spoke, her gaze softened, lingered, and then hastily turned away, as though retreating from a vulnerability she couldn't control. It was like watching a magnetic pull that defied her reason, a forceful yet tender vulnerability she didn't want to reveal but couldn't fully conceal either. As I watched their interactions unfold, the silent language of her gaze became as obvious to me as daylight. Her eyes told a story of unspoken emotions and suppressed feelings, a depth Javier couldn't begin to comprehend, much less notice. To him, it was just Rocio being friendly, a kind co-worker, nothing more. But to those who observed, it was clear her gaze held something far more powerful, a longing, a gentle hesitance, and an inner struggle between loyalty and the undeniable spark ignited within her. Psychologists say that prolonged eye contact can trigger a profound emotional response in the brain, creating an intimacy that words often fail to capture. It's an electric connection, where two souls meet without touching, where a mere look speaks louder than any words ever could. For a committed woman wrestling with feelings for another, that lingering gaze becomes her silent confession. Every time her eyes linger a second too long, it's a battle between her heart's whispered longing and her mind's desperate attempt to maintain control. So, if you ever sense that a woman's gaze lingers, that her eyes soften and her expression holds a momentary vulnerability, take note. That gaze holds a world of emotion, a hidden story of desire, hesitation, and maybe even guilt. She might be fighting it, trying to mask her emotions behind a polite smile or a quick glance away. But in those rare moments, when her gaze breaks through her carefully constructed facade, know that you're witnessing something raw and unfiltered. It's her heart speaking through her eyes, revealing truths her lips dare not utter. 3. The game of unspoken words. There's a profound allure to the things left unsaid, a quiet seduction in the words we dance around rather than say. When a woman is in a committed relationship, the risks of revealing her interest in someone else are simply too high, so she learns the art of speaking in code. Every word is carefully chosen, every glance calculated, hinting at what lies beneath without crossing any lines. It's a game of subtext, of innuendo wrapped in ordinary conversations, where the true meaning is hidden just beneath the surface, waiting to be uncovered by the right person who knows how to listen. Imagine a woman who can't say what she's truly feeling, who hides her longing in casual remarks and playful banter. She might talk about the weather, the latest work project, or even some trivial event, but there's an unmistakable warmth in her tone, a softness in her gaze, that tells you there's something more. It's in these small exchanges that she sends out her quiet signals, hoping that you'll pick up on the hidden invitation. She's like an artist painting in shadows, creating something beautiful and complex without ever using bold colors. Every joke, every seemingly innocent comment, every subtle smile is a brushstroke that adds to the picture, a coded message for you to decipher. I remember once working with a woman who was in a long-term relationship, but found herself captivated by someone else. She was careful, incredibly so, never saying anything that could be directly interpreted as romantic or flirtatious. Instead, she'd make small, playful comments, injecting humor into their exchanges, or she'd ask for his opinion on some minor issue, making him feel noticed and valued in a way that seemed innocuous to anyone else. But to those who understood her, it was clear. There was a spark beneath those words, a curiosity she was exploring one subtle conversation at a time. And with each interaction, she left behind a trail of clues, nothing obvious, just small details, tiny hints that felt significant if you knew what to look for. Psychologists refer to this phenomenon as selective recall, a cognitive tendency to remember specific details about someone we're attracted to. When we feel drawn to someone, our minds can't help but latch onto even the smallest things they say, as if each word they utter is a precious gem worth keeping. These details get stored away, cataloged in a hidden part of our memory, ready to be brought out later, like an unspoken bond shared only between two people who understand each other's hidden language. For a committed woman navigating forbidden feelings, selective recall isn't just an emotional quirk. It's a way of keeping a part of her desire alive, a way of nurturing her attraction in secret, safely hidden from the outside world. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment number 1 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. So the next time she mentions a seemingly irrelevant detail, maybe an anecdote about her morning commute or a random observation about her favorite movie, consider it carefully. Notice if she lingers on certain phrases, or if her eyes meet yours just a bit too long before she looks away. These tiny moments, seemingly innocent on the surface, are the foundation of something far deeper, a silent story building between the two of you. Every shared laugh, every quiet smile, every brief touch of hands becomes part of this unspoken connection, a tapestry woven from words that dare not cross the line. And when you find yourself remembering those details, when her words echo in your mind long after she's gone, you've entered into her world of hidden messages. She doesn't have to say she's thinking of you, the way she recalls a memory you once shared, the way she laughs at a private joke only the two of you understand, that's her way of letting you know. In those unassuming moments, she's building a bridge between her guarded heart and yours, daring you to notice the signs, to interpret the signals that lie beneath her everyday words. If you pay attention, you'll find that her casual remarks and playful comments are far from meaningless. Each one is a whisper, a carefully placed invitation to look closer, to see the depth she's carefully concealing. The game of unspoken words is, in essence, a love letter in fragments, hidden in plain sight, waiting for you to piece it together. It's a delicate thrill, a shared secret that neither of you dares to acknowledge openly, but one that binds you nonetheless, creating a connection as intimate as it is invisible. 4. Details that aren't accidental. Now let's venture into the realm of subtleties. The small gestures and seemingly inconsequential details that, at first glance, appear incidental but often carry a weight far greater than they reveal. Imagine this scenario. You're in a meeting, surrounded by the buzz of conversation, or perhaps sitting across from her in a bustling cafe, the hum of life going on around you, and suddenly, she mentions something you said weeks ago. It might be a stray comment, a casual observation, or a random detail about your preferences that you, yourself, had long forgotten. But there it is, brought back to life as if it's fresh in her mind, as though it holds a place of quiet significance. Why would she remember something so small, something that slipped from your mind almost as soon as you'd said it? Because when someone truly matters to us, even the tiniest details leave deep impressions, moments that our minds quietly capture and refuse to release. Psychologists have a name for this: selective recall. It's a phenomenon where our minds unconsciously prioritize details tied to people we're drawn to, preserving even the simplest, most seemingly trivial elements about them. And it's not something she decides to do on purpose. It's her mind's way of assigning value to everything connected to you, as if every shared word, laugh, or glance is a treasure worthy of preservation. This attention to detail, especially when it involves the most minute, easily overlooked things, is a subtle but telling sign. It shows that she's holding on to you in a way that goes beyond the surface, allowing your presence to seep into her thoughts, even when she isn't consciously aware of it. And when she recalls these details in conversation, she's giving you a glimpse into the depth of her interest, a quiet but powerful way of showing that you occupy a special place in her mind. I once knew a woman who found herself deeply captivated by a man she could never openly express her feelings for. She told me, with a soft smile and a bit of longing in her eyes, that some of her most treasured moments with him weren't the grand, obvious exchanges, but rather the ones that seemed insignificant to everyone else. It was the way he spoke about his favorite music, the way he gestured with his hands when he was explaining something he was passionate about, or the way he laughed. A laugh that was so uniquely his, so familiar to her. She remembered it all, the sound, the warmth, the rhythm of it. These weren't just passing observations for her. They were pieces of him that she clung to, replaying them in her mind as though they were cherished secrets, small moments she could savor in private when he was far from reach. Selective recall isn't merely a cognitive quirk, it's an intensely emotional one. Our brains naturally latch onto the things we care about, the small, seemingly inconsequential moments that somehow feel like they matter most. When a woman finds herself drawn to someone, every shared word, every shared glance, becomes a quiet thread woven into the tapestry of her memory. So, if she casually mentions that coffee you ordered last month or recalls the smallest detail about something you once said, it's her mind's way of prioritizing you. In her subconscious, you've become significant enough that even the smallest aspects of who you are deserve remembering. These aren't grand gestures or open declarations. There's something quieter but just as profound. When she remembers details you'd all but forgotten, when her laughter lingers over a joke you made days or even weeks ago, or when she remembers that you like your tea with an extra spoonful of sugar, she's telling you, in her own silent way, that you matter. It's a subtle but powerful declaration of care. For her, these aren't just passing memories. They're meaningful fragments of time spent with you, details she's carefully stored as a reminder of what connects the two of you, even when she can't say it openly. These seemingly accidental details reveal her heart's true focus. She might not be able to express her feelings in words, and maybe she's afraid to cross any boundaries. But these details, these remembered moments, are her silent way of showing you her attention, her regard, her quiet affection. She is, in a sense, building a private connection with you through memories, crafting a hidden language that only you and she understand, filled with moments that don't need to be spoken out loud to be felt. So the next time she brings up a small memory, some shared joke, or even a stray comment you'd let slip without a second thought, recognize it for what it is. Her attention to these small things is far from accidental. It's a tender reflection of the way she treasures every moment with you, however small. In those remembered details, she's extending an invitation, drawing you closer into a world of subtle emotions and hidden affections. And in the quiet resonance of those seemingly insignificant memories, you'll find her true feelings revealed, as she shows you, without ever saying a word, just how much you mean to her. 5. Subtle physical contact. Now, let's delve into a signal that might seem almost imperceptible but could be the most potent indicator of all: subtle physical contact. I'm not talking about the bold gestures, the grand hugs, or even the rare stolen kiss. No, it's the small, almost invisible touches that linger for a heartbeat, the gentle grazes that happen so naturally they could almost be missed. Because when a committed woman feels a physical attraction to someone who isn't her partner, her body sometimes becomes her silent accomplice, expressing what her words and heart might be too cautious to reveal. In psychology, there's a well-documented connection between physical touch and emotional response. The simplest touch can send a cascade of signals to the brain, triggering a rush of feelings we may not even fully understand. If you notice her hand lingering just a fraction longer than necessary, or if her fingers brush lightly against your arm as she passes, these moments are far from accidental. Such subtle touches can speak volumes. They're like whispered confessions of an attraction she may not dare to put into words. It might seem small, these touches, but they carry a weight that's hard to ignore once you notice. Imagine her reaching out in conversation, her hand brushing yours briefly, as if testing the boundaries without crossing them. She might let her arm graze yours in a crowded room or lightly place her hand on your shoulder in a moment of shared laughter. Each touch, however fleeting, is a message hidden in plain sight, a moment that electrifies the space between you. And in that fleeting contact, she's revealing her interest in a way that feels both thrilling and secret, almost as if she's daring you to read between the lines. These touches may seem insignificant to others, but to you, they carry a charge, a warmth, a sense of connection that feels deeply personal. A committed woman caught in the throes of attraction may avoid obvious displays of affection, but these small, hidden touches are her way of testing the waters, of seeing if you feel the same without ever needing to say it. And perhaps that's why they're so powerful, because they're understated, private, and intimate in a way that larger gestures can never be. At the end of the day, the allure of the forbidden has a unique pull, but it also carries a weight, a responsibility that mustn't be taken lightly. When a committed woman sends these signals, those intense gazes, disguised jokes, subtle touches, she's sharing glimpses of a desire she can't fully express, an attraction she may never act on. This delicate dance of unsaid words, shared glances, and brief touches creates a kind of connection that's thrilling yet tinged with restraint, a quiet tension simmering beneath the surface. In this space, where unspoken words meet unseen gestures, there's a depth that requires patience, respect, and understanding. It's a delicate balance, a momentary lapse of boundaries that, for her, might carry both excitement and a sense of guilt. And in acknowledging these gestures, there's a need to recognize not only the thrill but also the restraint and honor with which such feelings must be handled. My name is Celia, and I want this space to be one of wisdom, a place where we can talk about life's more intricate emotions and complex connections with openness and respect. Here, we go beyond the superficial, stepping into life's nuances and the emotions we often feel but rarely voice. If you've made it this far, it means you're committed to your own growth and self-awareness, and that's something I deeply respect and appreciate. So let's explore these themes together, knowing that every subtle signal, every hidden gesture, carries within it a universe of meaning that deserves understanding and respect. Thank you for watching. Now, I'd love to hear from you. What's one thing you've learned from today's video that you plan to put into practice in your own life? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this exploration into the unspoken nuances of attraction, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more thought-provoking content. Your journey toward deeper self-awareness and understanding starts here.